Well, never mind. Okay. Let's see where I am here. Oh, yesterday, we finished page 14. And you probably saw a bit of that, and I did a little bit more even. I've already posted over to Instagram. That's not the final form of the page, by the way. I post to Instagram, and then I clean it up, and then it gets ready for print eventually. All right, page 15, and you saw me draw a little of this. Well, I've drawn a little bit more, and I started to put some lettering in. I don't have the whole thing yet. This particular panel does not have much in there, but we're going to make a mention that, let's see, add text. This is Duralloy. So, really expensive in here. Aha, that's a clue. All right, so what I'm doing here is just doing some of my lettering, and you can see how I do it. I choose my sizing ahead of time, and I for this font I choose 12. I could probably go with Evil Genius at 11 by 16. It could probably go to 11 or 10. 12 seems about right. And 12 is also, I think I use 14 for Ready for Anything. So now I'm trying to get a good balance. That's an okay balance. If you're going to do a long line, it's better to have it in the middle. Like that. Okay. And then once you have the lettering on there, you can see it's too close to his head, so you really gotta, this is where you gotta do the lettering at the same time as you're doing the art. So I've sized it down a bit, and that looks a little bit better, right? And we could even see maybe a little bit of, I think it's a good idea to show a little bit of the ceiling when you're in an enclosed place, like a room. In this case, we're in a cave, but there's a secret underground lab here. When I switched it so where he's kneeling down, well, I just did just now. He's really kneeling now. Let's move his foot up a little bit. Something like that. And there's some junk nearby. The Duralloy conduit is important because he's going to eventually turn that into a sword, although probably not in this comic. I don't think I have enough room in pages to show him after the final battle getting the idea to take it to an anvil and sort of hammer it into shape or whatever. And I'm probably gonna have to think about these final words here. But let's go ahead and get started with the panel, just so we can say that we're on the road. Aha! Once I do this line, page 15 begins. There it is. And then it's just a matter of getting your horizontals in. Now, when it comes to a two-panel row like this, you can do it a number of different ways, but I don't like to ever do it straight up in the middle. So you notice I've got it kind of offset to the left a little bit. And if one of these rows up above or below, let me go to the other layer, was two panels, I would just break the offset off to the right a little bit so that we have a flow that looks like this. And you also want to figure out what the flow is through the page. It starts here. It's always going to start on the left side. So it's probably something like that, right? It goes from her to him to her again. off to the right. Like what's going to catch the user's attention? Same thing here. I'm going to give this planet the worst reviews, 1 star, too hot, stupid wildlife. Then we see him, and we can see that it's him talking. And it ends with there's a passage this way, and then we get to the thing over there. So keep an eye out on that stuff. Like try and figure out what the flow is. Same thing here. And I haven't even finished the dialogue on that panel, so I don't even want to breach the seals just yet. All right, once you've done all that, take the art away, make it go away, go back to player 1. Make sure your eraser is small and tight. And let's just get rid of all the extra lines. I will definitely be working on page 15 through the weekend. Sometimes, if I'm lucky, if I got all my words written down, if I've got all the dialogue kind of worked out, I can start and finish a page in about 2 hours, right? Concentrated. You notice these videos are about 30 minutes long, and I do every once in a while, I do stuff in between. Lately, I've been trying to learn pop-ups, so I've been spending a lot of time watching tutorials and trying to design and build these pop-up models, like a pop-up book. And Evan gave me a really good tip, which I haven't implemented yet, which is you should come up with a story to go along with it. So it's really like a pop-up book. Right now I'm just doing, it's like a card. It pops up, something pops out. But you need a story. And then you can kind of relate all the images back to the story and do a series. And it doesn't have to be a complicated story. I mean, after all, pop-up books are used to illustrate the ABCs sometimes. That would be a good idea. Just A pops out, an apple, something like that. I'm looking at my words now because they're all isolated without the images, and I can see that it's too close. See how close it is to this panel border? Now we want to use the panel border, but we don't want it that close. That looks like a word's length of close. So this is a conduit. This is a Duralloy conduit. We want it to be about, let me show you how far away. About that far away. Top and side, right? Because we need to have enough air in the balloon. All right, now she's got a line, and then there's going to be some exchange of lines down here below, but we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to go ahead and start inking this top panel. They're still outside on the left half of the panel. There's the cave appears here. Inky, boom. And we got to make sure that we're using the rusty nib. Nib 1. There it is. Okay. Just to reiterate, because I do it every time, you ink from the foreground first, and then you go further back and back and back in the distance. Luminar is very worn out from the heat. So we can put that on her, right? Maybe her hair is droopy. Her antennas are droopy. They're just drooping straight down in the heat. Now, I think as part of Illuminar's arc, she should become tough. She's been through hardship. But at this point, she's so early in her hardship that she's not tough yet. That's how you get a character to develop and change over time. You have to put them through something, right? You have to change them somehow. And everyone who's following the story will know, oh wait, yeah, now she's been through stuff, right? All right, how about that? Now, I'm just curious about Mouse because Rodgon the artist just did a thing about mouths, and I'm going to go ahead and do it like I was doing it. But his sketching methods for mouths was really kind of cool, and I want to learn it. I don't know what it is from the straight profile. I'll have to study what he's doing. But he showed a lot of cool examples from just the different angles of the head, 3/4 view, etc. Not even 3/4 view, just moving it around. Highly recommend Rodgon the Artist. Second thing I got a problem with is this eye. Let's change this to freehand. I call this doing the Mr. Potato Head. You just take the eye and you start moving it around. Where does it look most natural? Maybe there's a little bit here. How about there? And then just to show how sweaty she is, she's dying. Okay. How about that? As alien as she is, and as entitled as she is, Illuminara is going to be kind of our human lens into the story. Centaur is still a robot. We want to eventually get to the point where we see him as more of a human, as more of a focal character, but I think we have to really focus on our experience through Illuminara. That's the way it looks like without the pencils. Boom. It's supposed to look exhausted. I'll take anything with shade. All right, here we go. This is some rocks. Some rubble. I don't know if I want to do that. It looks like I want to do like a scrubby desert plant of some kind. Oh, and Centaur is still carrying stuff. Like as much as she's complaining, he's got the real burden. And I'll probably have to like go back and look at the other image to see if I've made it look like the other image, as far as the stuff he's carrying. He always has a positive outlook attitude. He's got that PMA. If you listen to the Brad Brains. Okay. Want to make sure that we're not connecting lines in certain places so that we avoid tangents. Oh, I just thought of something. We want to have the corner for mouth extending just a bit beyond, and I think I'm making her lower lip jut a little bit too far. All right, here we go. How about this? Oop. That didn't work. Let's try again. How about that? There we go. Now he has kind of a thin chest. with the iconic chest plate. And I've got to watch my line weights. All right. Just for reference purposes, let's go back one panel. And we're going to take this panel. What we want to see is this, like this big stack of luggage that he's got. And we're going to take it and we're going to... here, let's do this. I don't see how I'll need the whole thing, so let's just do this part. Right? We got the little screenshot. Save to photos. Okay, once we've done that, whoops. We'll go up to here. Canvas, reference, image, import, photos. Very first one. Now you could use any photo as a reference if you're trying to draw something. I just happen to want to be drawing this specific guy. So he's got one big box below, but he's got two boxes, one of which is like a half-size box. And then the other box and I'm tangenting it right off of his head. Whoops, let's fix that. Okay, on top of that, there's another box. And there's just one more box on top, but I think for comedic purposes I put two. A lot of this is going to get hidden by the speech bubble over there. Let's make sure that it matches, though. Also, a little tip that I did not follow is watch your line width. And not only that, I want to make his head a bit narrower, or a lot narrower. And this time he's going to be looking in that direction where he's pointing. Another thing that Centaur has, he's got eyebrows. All right, let's take a look. Do I need to be controlling harder for line weight? I think I might be. I might be off on my line weights. And if that's the case, it's fine. I have to do some shaving. I might have to redraw a couple of places. It's not the worst thing in the world. Oh, I think it's okay. I think we can shave it off like that. All right, now as far as the straps go, well, let's see the figure first. He's pointing. He's only got a couple of fingers here. He's got 3 fingers. And we got to make sure that we don't box up this shape. It's a cylinder, not a box. Can even black it out a little bit. Okay. I like this, but I think I've made a mistake here. I may have made him too big because his leg should be shorter. I think it's too tall. Tell you what, let's erase the whole thing. It's okay. It'll be easy to fix. I think what I need to do is get into the pencil layer. I like the figure. And let's shrink him down a little bit. Push him forward. This gets him away from the speech bubble. And the other thing I think I'd like to fix. Let's make that head a little bit narrower. Since this is all taking place in the pencils, we don't have to worry too much about things like distortions. You know, it's gonna, like when you start stretching things around like this, it's gonna do things to the pixeling and the anti-aliasing that make things they're not good. Like it doesn't look good when you do that. But in the pencil layer, that whole layer goes away. So you can warp it, stretch it, pull it, do whatever you need to just to get it into shape. And then when you get into your inky layer, which I'm just about to do, oh, see, we can get an even better expression on it when we thin it up a little bit. When we get into the inky layer, none of those distortions will be there because that whole layer disappears. The pencil layer goes away. All right. And now we have a real sense of distance and perspective. Good times, okay. I think I'm going to change the perspective on the arm a little bit so it's pointing away now. And here you thought, oh, well, it's cartoony. You don't need to worry about things like perspective anymore. Or figure drawing. Yep, you do. In fact, you need to know even more. Because you're constantly going to be dealing with it. All of the different interpolations of, okay, so if this guy is here, how's that going to go? Right? All right, on the feet. The way there's like a semicircle along the side. All right, now let's take a look. See, much better. I think much improved. We're going to do way better. Okay. Now, let's draw the cave entrance. Whatever you do not draw, a door and fill it in. That's a terrible cave. Actual cave entrance, you want to, it's got light. It's got lighting on the opening. And it's going to be dark, and we're going to use some tones for that. But we could use some black. But it's, like I said, some black. All right. Well, let's fix his burden. All right, he's carrying one large parcel. And then off to the side, there's the frying pan. Then there's like It's one box. How about this right here? This is where the strap ends on this side, and then there's another box right here. And then on top, and we're seeing, because of, we see this clue with the inside of the thing, so we can see a little bit of the parcels as if there was, the boxes are turning slightly away. Let's put this strap right here. And then this one's right here as well. All right. Let's get rid of the pencils because they're confusing us. I think this might be it for how far we're going to go today. Save the rest for the weekend. Okay. All right. That looks pretty good. All things considered, right? All right. Now we have our duotone, but we actually have finer and tighter control if we're just using our lines. I mean, what kind of cartoonist would you be if you couldn't draw plain old lines, right? So it's okay to do some of that. We also have to figure out what the lighting situation is going to be. We're at the end of the day. There's some rocks, overhanging rocks. Let's bring that pencil back. Oh, I like this little pathway. All right, let's do that. All right. Let's take the pencil away. I think as soon as we create this little line back here, we've got the beginnings of a good cave. And we just got to figure out how we're gonna do the rocks on the way in, make sure it looks darker on the inside than it does on the outside. You know? Um, and just sell the idea that this is a cave. You know, try not to make it too mysterious for the reader to go, oh, that's okay, they're going into a cave. You know, have one of the characters say, somewhere in this cave. It's called hedging your bets. Okay. My cave doesn't look entirely convincing. I've got to look at some cave entrances maybe for reference as well. That always helps. Okay, maybe. The rock should not be piled on top of the ridge here. That doesn't make sense. Maybe something like that. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. But we got to make this darker on the inside than it is on the outside. So I'll figure out how to do all that stuff. And you know what would be helpful? Is if we saw the other part of the opening here. So we understood it's not just a side of a cliff or something. Yeah, I gotta keep working on it, obviously. Alright. So next time you see this cave, it should be a little bit better. We hope. I'll keep working on it. I was thinking maybe some action lines. Maybe. Alright. Please like, follow, and subscribe. There will be more comics every day.